CarolinaPrepper.com. If you're looking for quality food storage for hiking, fishing, hunting, basic survival needs, or just for everyday use, check out our food storage line at CarolinaPrepper.com. We also carry other fine quality products such as our can concealment holsters for men and women. Keeping your firearm under cover and within reach puts confidence in your hands in any situation. Our products are 100% American made. Check us out today at CarolinaPrepper.com.
And now, it's time to Stand for Truth with the host of Stand for Truth Radio, Susan Knowles.
Good morning, everybody. How are you? Hey, Robin, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Hey, Jules, good to see you. Rhonda, good to see you. It's Monday. Believe it or not, it's Monday. Let me start to get Instagram up here. Not wanting to start. Hey, Alexis, good to see you. How is everybody doing? I hope you had a great weekend. Hey, Marilyn, good to see you back. Jerry, hello. Carmen, good to see you. Instagram does not want to work. I tell you, I try to get Instagram because it seems better than Facebook, and then all of a sudden Instagram won't work. So I don't know what to tell you. Let me try that again. Try to get everybody up with us and going. Good to see everybody. I hope everybody had a great Veterans Day weekend. Hey, Dawn. Hey, Monique. Rob, good to see you. Hey, Tooth, good to see you. Hey, Fred. Hello. How is everybody? Barbara, good to see you. Marilyn, hello, hello. All right. I'm going to switch over to Facebook Live. We're going to see if we can get on Facebook Live this morning now that Instagram is giving me problems. It's one thing or another. Carmen says she's barely here. I don't know why that is, Carmen. You should be here in full. Hey, Jerry, lots of topics. Absolutely. Just seem to be more and more. Periscope is, yeah, Periscope's working. YouTube's working, but neither Facebook or Instagram, which tells me there's a problem because Instagram and Facebook are one and the same. So we'll see if they come back up. So I don't know if Facebook in my area is having something's happening. I don't know. All right. So I'm going to read to you as people come in. You beware of false prophets who come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravenous wolves. You will know them by their fruits. Do men gather grapes from thorn bushes or figs for thistles? Even so, every good tree bears good fruit, but a bad tree bears bad fruit. A good tree cannot bear bad fruit, nor can a bad tree bear good fruit. Every tree that does not bear good fruit is cut down and thrown into the fire. Therefore, by their fruits you will know them. Not everyone who says to me, Lord, Lord, shall enter the kingdom of heaven, but he who does the will of my Father in heaven. Many will say to me in that day, Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in your name, cast out demons in your name, and done many wonders in your name? And then I will declare to them, I never knew you. Depart from me, you who practice lawlessness. Be a fruit checker, Marlene said. I don't know what that means, but hey, praise God for the truth. Amen. He is speaking of the heart, not judges, Alexa said. Chezzy, hello. Good to see you. All right. So let's talk about, let's start out with Hannity this morning. Did everybody see that there are advertisers who are pulling their ads from Hannity? Hey, Daniel, that's a scary scripture. It is, and one that we should remember. I'm good to have a reminder. So what happened was, hey, Jamie, good to see you. Monique, good to see you. What happened was Sean Hannity, had Judge Moore on his show. And it wasn't liked, of course, because he wanted to have Judge Moore on to tell his side of the story. And when he did that, the left went crazy. I want to say also, especially Media Matters reached out to Keurig and said, hey, what's up with this? Why are you doing this? And now I'm getting everybody back on Instagram, so hopefully they'll get notifications. So, and so Keurig is going to be pulling its ads from Hannity. Realtor.com is going to be pulling their ads from Hannity. They didn't like Hannity having Roy Moore on his show. Hey, Hugh, good morning. So it's gotten to this point where you can't even have somebody on your show to try to discern what the truth is and allow you to see what the truth is. Hey, Cully, they're going to tell you that that's not okay. And they're going to show you that that's not okay by pulling their advertisers from you. Now, I wrote hey, Jamie, thank you for going over to Instagram and being there with that. That came in late because it wouldn't start. And then Barbara gave us a number, 1-866-907-2239. I thought it was 2739, Barbara, but I have it in my article at SusanKnowles.com. It's the number for Keurig. Give them a call and tell them, whatever you want, but tell them, I called them and I said, look, I don't appreciate the fact that you're condemning somebody without evidence, and you're deciding to take off the advertisers. The Keurig are removing. Alexis, just go to SusanKnowles.com. It's the first article down at the very bottom. It gives you the telephone number. And, Keurig, you're deciding, 1-866-907-2739. 866-907-2739 is the number if you want to call Keurig. If you talk about censorship and you talk about your freedom of speech being taken away from you, here is a perfect example. Now, Keurig can do whatever it wants, but I can also call Keurig and tell them what I think about them. But for the mere fact that Sean Hannity had this man on his show, that was enough to set them off. Sean Hannity even said, look, if he's guilty, if these allegations are true, you should step aside. And, that wasn't enough. That wasn't good, Carmen. Thanks for calling in. That wasn't enough. They just condemned him for having the guy on his show in the first place. Yes, Realtor.com pulled the ads too. I think Keurig, they're probably going after Keurig because Keurig on Twitter spoke directly to the president of Media Matters. Yes, and they're doing the Smash Your Keurig challenge. So I saw a video last night of a guy who had a 9-iron or whatever. He just took it in his garage with his Keurig coffee maker and just did a swing and just broke it into bits. Now, Media Matters makes no bones about going after Hannity. They hate Hannity, and they'll go after him for any reason. Could somebody put up the Keurig number once again? 866. If somebody has that number, Barbara, if you could put that number back up. People are asking for it again. Yeah, they're too expensive anyway. That's for sure. If anybody would put that number from Keurig back up. If you don't have it, just go to SusanKnowles.com. Look at the first article. Go all the way to the bottom, and the number's there. And yet we all know that they will buy another one someday. I never did Keurig. Too expensive for us ninjas. Wait, I will be doing a video on blasting my evil black rifle to it. There you go, Jamie. That would be good. Just go buy an electric perk, good old-fashioned cup of coffee, and it's not Keurig. It's not hot. Let's see. But yes, but they're really that relevant to Hannity. Obviously, they're just as crazy as the accusations against Roy that have yet to be proven. While shocking to know Keurig was on the list, I will definitely make a call when I'm able to talk again without any pain. People are videotaping, smashing it. Yes, they are. If somebody else, Barbara, if you could put up the number again for Keurig, that would be great. Keurig is getting a call, posting on Facebook. Good, Alexis. If anybody has that number, please put it up again. Hey, Lisa, good morning. Get rid of Keurig's after being sick with gut issues. Oh, you got rid of it, Rhonda? Wow. Yeah, go get him, Jamie. Boom. What do you think about Roy saying he generally didn't date young girls? Well, Jules, I don't know what that means. Hey, Butterfly. Tastes like tea. 1-866-907-2739. 1-866-907-2739. Thank you, Barbara. And just press 1 and just leave a message with the person. Well, not a message. You'll be talking to a person unless they put it on. No, it doesn't mean he's guilty. Did you say the same thing about George Takei? I mean, here's the thing. A person, when they say that, and I'll say it again. I think I said it the other day, but obviously I need to say it again. If you were 16 years old in Alabama in 1979, hey, Teresa, if you dated somebody who was 16 years old in Alabama in 1979, the age of consent in Alabama at that time, and it may still be, is 16 years old. So the 14-year-old, if that's true, it's questionable. However, things are coming out is making the woman's credibility put that in question. It's 14 and a Y. Whoa. Yeah, the thing of it is that if you're a person and you're accused of something, then people need to be putting out information and of saying why this is it. I mean, you can't just say, oh, that person did this to me without having some type of proof. Either people talking about it who can corroborate it. Hard to say on Monday. Or something. You've got to have some information. But she was talking about that there was a phone in her room. The mother said, good morning, Kisa. The mother said there is no phone was no phone in her room, and it was 1979. That's right. They came up with this is Gateway Pundit, I think, published this, talking about her credibility. Now, the first couple ones don't matter to me. She divorced several times. She has had several bankruptcies. Now, here's the part that matters to me. Oh, please do not let me follow in producer footsteps. I don't know what you're talking about, Barbara. I think I was looking down. But she claims several pastors made sexual advances against her, and she's been charged with multiple misdemeanors. That, if you're in a court of law, you're going to look at that and say that goes to her credibility. All those statements, and the fact that the mother said there was no phone in her room, although she says she made phone calls from in the room. No, but have a great day. Yeah, I know, Cully. There's a pattern there. That was in Gateway Pundit. Thanks, Chezzy. Keurig Alternative, Hamilton Beach Brew, 12 Best Buy. Okay, Mel. Yeah, if you want an alternative, slight insult in light of many interesting developments. Yeah, so, and, there's also an allegation. Can somebody go to Twitter and block S Monster and whoever that person is? Obviously, they want to come back in and try to defame people. You need to, can you do that, Cully, perhaps? You're very good at doing that. If somebody would go to Twitter, I would appreciate it. It's one of those things where you block and it's going through Twitter. So somebody needs to go through Twitter. Hey, Robin, good to see you. Yeah, mini trolls. Well, it's Monday, cut. And trolls like to bother other people because they have nothing better to do. So there you go. So also, we have to look at the credibility of this person. I'm not saying whether Roy Moore is innocent or guilty. I don't know. I wasn't there. and I don't have a lot of information about it. But what I know is that you can't uh, ruin a person's life based on something that happened 40 years ago without information that shows that you know that they actually did it, because that's just not good. I don't know, cut. Honestly, a lot of people don't seem clean, but that's not for me to go out and condemn a person or anybody else. I mean, look over the weekend on Friday. How many things came out about George Takei, Richard Dreyfuss, and the guy in Top Gun made accusations? Why isn't anybody going out and claiming that these people did this? Why aren't they doing that? Cully, I reported that it's somebody on Twitter. You have to go block them on Twitter, and I can't go do that right now. If you could block that person on Twitter, it'll stop. And so, yeah, they're coming through on Twitter, Julia. Somebody has to go block them on Twitter or report them for spam or report them for abuse on Twitter. So George, thank you, George Takai. I mean, there's even according to what has been put out over the weekend, there was a there was a tape that a video that was put out in regards to George Takai being on Howard Stern's show, and Howard Stern basically came out and said to gosh, Howard Stern came out and said, "Oh, he started talking to George Takei when he had him on his show. He said, have you ever harassed anybody? Have you ever done anything like that?" And George Takei kept saying, "Well, we need to kind of encourage people to do things." So it was pretty. You have to go see. You have to go listen to that video. Hollywood protects its own. Yeah, I know, Daniel. It seems to be. With all the snowflakes out there who are still using pacifiers and living in their parents' basements, a 16-year-old today would be like a 5-year-old. Well, that's true. That's true, Monique. Good point. Yeah, thank you, Marlene. Hopefully that will stop in a minute. Look at the women paid by Gloria Allred to smear President Trump. None had solid proof. Yeah. So you have to go and you have to look at it and see what basically is there. And you have to gather information. As I said, George Takei came out, he denied it, and that was okay. Everybody said that's fine. Richard Dreyfuss came out and he denied it, and everybody's like, okay, that's fine then. So, but they want to, because it's political. Uh, why is a 16-year-old doing around 39-year-old man? Well, he wasn't 39. It was like 32, I guess. I don't know why a 16-year-old would be around a 30-some-year-old. But how many people, where they've married somebody much older and it doesn't seem to be a problem? And there are people back in where are the parents? I know. I don't know. Thank you, Julia. So, again, just go do your research on somebody, and the left is going to do this. Media Matters had its own agenda, and that's why they're doing it. Too early to judge more of politics attack right now. If political attack of substance, it will come out. Yes. And again, her credibility has been kind of tarnished. And Roy said he got permission from the mother, and that's probably true. And none of the women are saying that he had sex with them. And let's keep that in mind, too. They're not saying they were raped. They're not saying that he had sex with them or anything else. So, that's another thing that you have to remember. And I don't think they really know if that 14-year-old, if that was true about being 14. Louis C.K. is sicko too. Well, he admitted what he did. And, I mean, that was pretty bad. And people knew that he was doing it at the time and did nothing about it. So, people coming out years later and talking about it is really bad. What are they accusing? they're accusing him of doing different things. I mean, one is kissing them. One of them said that, he rubbed his hands on the outside of her bra, and I think that's what it was. So I don't remember all the rest of it, but, and again, I don't know how long that person, how long they knew them, if they were 14, if they were 17, I don't know. No, I don't think that you should make comments about judge other people cut because of what race they are. That's a generalized statement you just made, and that's not, that we don't do that stuff in here. We're not the least bit swayed by the trolls. They're wasting their time. Yeah. Hey, Paula, how are you? Good to see you. Corey Feldman accusers are listed now. Wow. Not only Corey Feldman, but his friend, was it Corey Haim, Haim, also as well. So there's a lot of stuff that's coming out like that. So let's see some more stuff that we have. In the news, they were saying that John Podesta's group, or John Podesta, actually met with Fusion GPS, the founder, after the Trump dossier came out. Thank you for blocking and reporting. Hopefully that'll get better in a minute. We'll see. So there's also talk that the Podesta group may no longer be in business very shortly because of the fact everybody's left. Because they're going through Twitter. You have to go to Twitter and block that person on Twitter and report them for spam and on Twitter. And if enough people do it, that person won't be able to come back in. Glenn Simpson is testifying tomorrow. He's one of the co-founders of Fusion. That'll be interesting to see. Thank you. Interesting to hear Mitt Romney's statement of all people. Yeah, Mitt Romney, I mean, I think Mitt is trying to stay relevant maybe for a comeback, at another time, and so maybe that's why. And he's up there with the John McCains of the world and anybody else that's coming out and speaking out of just saying, get this person without even having any facts or any evidence about it. I was surprised to see Mike Lee. I was surprised to see Mike Lee come out so quickly. I mean, Mitt Romney, I can understand. John McCain, I understand because of who they are. But for Mike Lee, I was really surprised. And let's see, Bill Gates came out today and basically is saying that he is going to be donating $100 million to find a cure for Alzheimer's. And he bought he purchased 25,000 acres of land in Arizona, which is about 50 miles west of Phoenix. He wants to have it to be a forward-thinking community, cutting-edge technology, digital network, data centers, and etc. I don't know who owns Realtor.com. But think about that. He bought 25,000 acres in Arizona. That's pretty amazing. Yeah. And he's going to have this big, center with all of this information, and he's calling it a smart city. So you know exactly what that means. And he purchased all of that land for $80 million. That was Bill Gates did that. I don't know, Lee. What are you glad to hear, NCAA? Well, I don't know. I mean, when you're talking about a smart city, that means that everything is going to be tabulated and, determined what you're doing, your data, everything else. So, we have smartphones, we have the smart meters and everything else. Oh, Bill Gates fighting Alzheimer's. I mean, it is good. It is good, NCAA. But is that all he's doing? I mean, well, he was behind Common Core, and everybody thought that was great until they figured out what he was doing with the information of that he was gathering from those children. Is this just another thing that he's doing to say, oh, this is look, I'm doing the Alzheimer's and this is great? And so, you know, this is great, and I want you to give me all of your information. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but at the same time, I don't know. And I think when you're turning over all of your data and information to people, you should be very careful. And I think, in some places, Common Core is still, he's vaccinating the world. There you go, Marlene. Homeschool, yeah. Well, it's hard to do that, Rhonda. And also, it comes out on everything. Hey, Amanda. 25,000 acres of land sounds fairly suspicious to me, Monique said. Sounds like a lot of land to me. And $80 million is a good price for that, but it seems very weird. Sounds like a Jonestown. Well, it's going to be a smart town there, Julia. His smart town. I mean, that's smart city. Alabama has been red for a long time, but the Democrats are trying so hard to take down Republicans. Yeah. What is my point? What is your point? Everyone just, bet it has a big wall around it. It probably will, and probably security guards. Yeah. So did everybody? Hey, Pat, how are you? Did everybody hear about the all of the earthquakes this over the weekend? That was pretty amazing. I think so far, I believe they said 300 people are dead and 4,000 injured in the Iran-Iraq border. Pretty amazing. There was 7.2 earthquake. Then there was a 6.5 in Costa Rica. And there was another one in Japan with a very, very high. Yeah. Big one in Iran. Yeah. So it was Costa Rica and then also Japan. I think Japan, I can't remember if it was, a 6 point or a 7 point something. Yeah, Lee, it really. And Lee, you bring up a good point because here's the one thing that people should understand. Christians, and I was listening to something last night, and it really brought it back around to me. And it's something I think that as Christians, I'm just talking to the believers now, that we should remember. We are in a time, we're in the end times. We're in a place where there's, hey, Hassan, a lot of let's just say, evil, demonic presence that we see. We see that a lot. We see that in scopes. We see that a lot of people try to come in and deceive. A lot of deception going on. A lot of deception on social media. It's all over the place. And as believers, you have to protect yourself. God didn't say put on the full armor of God for no reason. He's saying put on the full armor of God to protect yourself. And a lot of times, people go in from this group to this group and to this group because they're looking for a leader of some sort to fill them with information. And you have to be careful about that because there are deceivers that are rampant. There are deceivers in church. There are deceivers on social media. There are deceivers in your jobs. There are deceivers everywhere. And so if you continually follow somebody, instead of focusing on God and asking God what you should do and asking God what you should believe and asking God for discernment, then you're going to be deceived. When people, there are also people who claim to be men and women of God. And when you listen closely to what they're saying, they're not. They're actually they're not men and women of God. You know, a lot of them say things on the nature of, you know, they tell you that they heal people. That's one thing. People don't heal people. God heals people. God works through you to heal people, but people do not always heal people, right? Okay, people don't heal people. It's God doing that. But it sounds good, and it sounds like it's biblical, and it sounds like it's coming from the Bible, but it's not. And you have to be very careful. And that's why, you know, when people, they're very quick to run and watch this person, and they leave this group and they go to that person. And, you know, there are lies going on. People say, oh, I never did that, when they know they did, but they're trying to deceive. And again, it's everywhere. And it's getting worse. And God told us that it is going to be worse. Yeah, you know, but God heals you. It isn't you healing people. If you're putting hands on people, you're laying hands on people, whatever method you're using, God is doing the healing. And if somebody tells you they're doing the healing, that's just not true. That's deception. But you have to be careful because, again, it sounds like it. It sounds like it's true. Some never versions of Bible have lots missing. Oh, newer. Yeah, the thing of it is, you know, again, New King James Version is a really good version of the Bible to follow. Sometimes the Alexis, what are you talking about? No, it doesn't what? So you just have to be careful. Robin says amen to that. Well, I think what they're saying is sometimes, Alexis, some of the, you know, like if you listen to the NIV, if you read that, sometimes it describes it a little bit differently or whatever. Yeah, and Daniel's saying that about NIV. So, I mean, again, I'm saying this to you just to be careful. Because when you don't be followers of men, be followers of God. And make sure your focus is in the right place. A lot of people who read the Hebrew, you know, interpretation. If you could at this point, if you want to retweet this and share it, we're at the little bit beyond the halfway point. I'd really appreciate it. So thank you on that. Now, there's a lot of stuff going on in Israel that we're not hearing anything about online or anything else. Israel is over in Iran is building a permanent military base in Syria, about 8 miles south, I believe it is, of Damascus. And if you, trying to do the Chrislams, so Jesus being removed, absolutely, Lee. You have to be very careful. Thank you for sharing, everybody. Israel is not going to let Iran establish a military base over in Syria. And again, as I said, it's near Damascus. And what they're doing, they had satellite pictures of what's going on over there. And yeah, seismology. Yeah, there are always quakes. They're probably getting a little bit more closer together, and you know, in the range of 6 point something, 7 point something. So anyway, the satellite pictures are showing that there are buildings that are being built. There are people working around those buildings, and they're hurriedly trying to get things done. And there are a lot of those buildings, and so it's becoming a real problem. But Isaiah 17, could the earthquakes be a result of a nuke test? I don't know, Pat. I mean, it could. I think in North Korea, some of the underground testing they're doing, that there are things that are collapsing over in North Korea because of the underground testing and everything that they're doing in nuke tests. Hey, Catherine, how are you? Weather warfare is real, Jerry said. Yeah, we don't know, but there certainly are getting a lot. It's the birth pangs, right? As we're talked about. I'm trying to see, over the weekend there was an agreement that was reached. Let me see if I can find that really quickly. There's an agreement reached on Saturday to protect Israel and Jordan from Iranian and Hezbollah forces in the Golan Heights. Ceasefire agreement reached between the U.S., Russia, and Jordan to eliminate non-Syrian foreign forces from the Golan Heights that pose a threat to Israel and Jordan. It's called the U.S.-Russia-Jordan Memorandum of Principles. That's the name of the agreement. It's focused on eliminating Iranian forces and Hezbollah from the Golan Heights, with measures to eliminate the use of Syrian conflict over the last 5 years to increase their presence in this part of Syria. The ceasefire comes following reports released over the weekend that Iran is establishing a permanent military base in Syria. Do you think that's going to matter? Do you think this agreement is really going to matter to somebody like Iran? Are they going to care? Or are they going to continue to build their military base right there in Syria? And I think then you have to ask yourself, why is Russia not stopping Iran from building that base in Syria? Robin said the NIV actually has removed scriptures. So, getting back on that. So you have to ask yourself, why aren't they doing that? And that's a big question. And the question and the answer is, Iran and Russia work together, and they're not going, yeah, exactly, Robin, they're not going to do anything about it. But, I mean, Isaiah 17 is getting closer and closer. Yes, it was filmed, Ben. Yeah, Iran never really listened. And now, according to the UN, they're doing just fine. Yeah, Gog and Magog. Yep. Keep reading, Carmen. Keep reading on that. So, you know, the UN is saying everything is fine. And that Iran is following their agreement that we made with them under Obama. UN is the enemy, in my opinion. We should get rid of the UN, but we're not going to, obviously. They're still here. So, let's see. There's some more information that's coming out about the Green Beret that was killed. Remember the Green Beret that they found strangled in Mali? They're saying, and he was part of the SEAL team or whatever. They say they took money. These people killed him because they were taking money from the fund used to pay for informants, and they asked him to go along with it. And when he wouldn't, they killed him. Those are the allegations now. Robin says, I don't trust any government agreements. They all lie to each other. UN needs to go. Iran will not follow the agreement. So they have those people. I know they have those people in custody. So we'll see, where that goes. If we're told the outcome of that, that would be good, good to find out. Lawmakers are once again calling on Jeff Sessions to, appoint a special counsel, saying, where are you? Why aren't you appointing a special counsel? And I think people have been asking Jeff Sessions for weeks now, where are you? I know, Marianne. Getting a good workout with the finger this morning. I've done it 1,000 times, Cut. Did anybody see the NFL? Breitbart had 15 photographs from NFL games around the United States. Looked like they were pretty low on attendance in a lot of those stands. Robin said it's like Sessions has disappeared. In a way, Robin, he's doing other things, but he's not, working with anything where we want him to. Saw pictures of empty stadiums. Yeah, there were 15 of them, Lee. 15 empty stadiums. And this was the veterans had asked everybody to go out, not to go there because Paula, it's coming through Twitter. Yep, Cry me a river for the NFL. They deserve it, and they do deserve it. Yet Kaepernick gets Citizen of the Year in GQ. So if you're supporting GQ, just letting you know that it is he's Citizen of the Year in their opinion. I know it just keeps coming in. I don't know why that is. Yep. And the NFL is not changing their policy. Canceled all subscription. Okay, Julia. Probably a good idea. Citizen of the Year. I don't know why he's Citizen of the Year, but I didn't bother to read it. Don't care. Don't want to know. Thank you, Chessie. I know, it's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Yeah, Marianne just came in now. Again, so whoops, I probably lost you on there. Hope not, but we'll see. Let me get back to if I can get back to you. I'm not sure that I can now, and I'll probably lose you on Periscope. Yep, I lost you on Periscope. All right, everybody, I lost everybody on Periscope, but we'll try to go on with what we were doing. We had a lot of people coming in. Actually, one person who was saying some pretty disgusting things and wouldn't go away, and so when I blocked her, it kind of blocked everybody. Let me get back to Periscope, and we'll see what we can do. All right. So in other news, an MS-13 gang member who was illegal was arrested in Colorado, allegedly stabbed a woman with a screwdriver and ran over her leg. He had also been deported from the U.S. previously. Hey, everybody. I'm glad you're back. I lost you when I went over to block someone. So, if you will, round two. I know. I hate it when it does this because it just messes up everything. But our veterans should be Citizens of the Year, not a rich crying pansy. Robin, absolutely agree. Hey, Ruth, good to see you. Jerry, thank you. NHC, thank you. Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Did you get her blocked? I hope so. We'll see. Hey, Ryan, good to see you. Haven't seen you in ages. Good morning, John. How are you? How is everybody? If you could share this, because we had to have somebody that we had to go off and come back in because somebody was just interrupting the scope tremendously because they were just being rude. Thank you. Let's see. Now, there is a man. Thank you. If you will just block, no one will respond. Alexis, I did it 1,000 times. That's what you don't understand. I blocked 1,000 times and it kept coming back. So I had to actually go to Twitter and block. Hey, Columbuk, how are you? Good to see you. See the comment, then all report as spam, then they will be blocked. Yeah, everybody blocked Alexis. It just didn't work. Actress, is it B-I-J-O-U, Bijan Phillips is accused of bullying actor Danielle Franzese. And he's accusing her of assault as well. Her husband is facing rape charges of his own. I don't think it's connected with what he was saying. But he's saying she body shamed him. Yeah, I know, you saw all the blocks. She body shamed him, ridiculed him about his sexuality, and physically assaulted him. I don't know who this actress is, and I don't know who the actor is either. Yeah, it's so silly, you know. Can this all be real? It's insane. I know, Pat. I know, Catherine. Catherine, I don't know what's going on today, but I had to block somebody on Twitter, and so when I went around to block them, and it got thrown out of Periscope. So, hey, Rob, good to see you. And you probably heard last night in the Mall of America there was a stabbing. The New York Post was saying that a 20-year-old Mahad Abdirahman was arrested. 3 people were wounded, I think, including himself. They were saying that it started as a simple theft. The attacker went into their back again. Yeah, I know. Lee went into their dressing room, and then when they tried to get him out of the dressing room and keep him from stealing something, supposedly he started attacking them. Yeah, banning knives. There you go. And they said that he was talking, sort of like talking to himself before the attack. Yeah, it's the Mall of America, so I'm sure we'll never hear about it again. Hey, Jules. The guy is Somalian, 20-year-old Sunni Islam, Jerry said. Ban dressing rooms. There you go, Cully. Good idea. Who shops with a knife? Marianne, especially, I guess some people do. Or at least that's what we're supposed to believe. And who would go into a dressing room if you wanted to steal something? Why wouldn't you just steal something off the shelves outside? I mean, maybe they think it's a little bit, he lives in Chicago but was in Minnesota. Visiting, I guess. Yeah, there you go, Jerry. It was the weekend after all. Dressing room control. Maybe that's it, Huey. Less in the dressing room. They steal while in the dressing rooms. There you go. That's a long journey for shopping. I know. That's true. What about the 3 shoplifters in China? Yeah, I know. We didn't hear anything about that, did we? They put items on in the dressing room, walk out wearing them. Yeah, Julia, that's usually what they do. Typically, they don't pull a knife on you to do that and to take stuff in the dressing room that you're trying on. Lots of people steal while in the dressing room. That's true, Chessie. No cameras in the dressing room, Brad Pitless said. I used to do store security. Dressing rooms are where they steal. But do they go in and usually attack people with knives to steal? Or do they just wait till they come out of the dressing room and steal that way? I have no idea. Exactly. Watched many years ago about Obama purchasing part of Facebook, and people now can't understand why the government KN. I don't know what the government KN is. No gender dressing rooms. Do they have that where you are? Maybe he was stealing a knife. Could be. Here, that person's back again. When I just blocked them on Twitter, they're back again. Must have come back in under another name. Lovely people. Got knocked off again. You got knocked off, Paula. Not a problem. So there's another woman, a 6th person, that says that she was groped by George H.W. Bush when she was 16 years old. She said that she was doing a photo op in 2003 at a CIA office in Texas when she alleges that he groped her. So that seems, that seems kind of weird, but those are the allegations, and everything is, coming up again about that. And that's woman number 6 now that says he groped her. They are pushing it as a robbery. Yeah, here they are. Went to Macy's dressing room recently. There was no one to regulate clothes being brought in. Yeah, wow, that could be a problem. That could be a real problem. Now, there's misconduct going on 14 years ago. Well, yeah, Brad, they don't really care. I mean, and again, I don't know if it's true or not. I wasn't there, and probably nobody saw it, so there's going to be, questions about that. Why they all come forward. Now, Paula, I think because one person kind of started it, and they felt like now's the time to do it, and they just all started doing it. I mean, which I'm glad if people are telling the truth. I'm glad that they're coming forward. They should come forward. I wish that some of them had, yeah, that's it, Marlene. I wish they had come forward before. I wish they had come forward a long time ago, so that maybe other women would not have had to go through it, or other men would not have had to go through it. So, but they didn't, and so they're coming forward now. And that's really a shame. So, okay, so let me tell you about the misconduct that's happening in California that no one is talking about. Um, there is now a second young woman, who is claiming that State Senator Tony Mendoza behaved inappropriately toward her while she was employed by him. Do you think any of it's politically motivated? Yeah, I do, Paula. I think some is. Some is. Thank you, Beck. Some is actually truthful. Hey, Robin. But you don't know the difference. I mean, it's hard to distinguish. Yeah, Julia, very hard to distinguish between truth and politically motivated claims. Correct. It very much is. The woman, Jennifer Quart, Kwart, came forward with her account hours after the Sacramento Bee, that's the newspaper in Sacramento, about a Senate investigation of allegations that Mendoza, on at least 2 occasions, invited a 23-year-old fellow to his home to review her resume for an open job in his office earlier this year. She said the encounter with Mendoza occurred when she was a 19-year-old intern in his Norwalk district in 2008, when Mendoza was 36, and in the state assembly, and involved a trip to California Democratic Party state convention in San Jose that year. The staff in Mendoza's office invited her to attend the convention in March, according to Quart, and a former Mendoza staff member. Quart said she assumed other employees were going also, but instead Mendoza picked her up from the airport and took her to a hotel suite. This is what she's claiming. At his suggestion, they had drinks from the mini bar in the suite's living room, despite her age, she said. So, and also it came out that you've heard me talk about Kevin De Leon, who is the head of, he's the senior guy in California State's Senate leader. He apparently rents a room from this Mendoza guy. And so other people are saying, did you not know this was going on? Alexis, you didn't hear? This is a state leader in California, Tony Mendoza, who's being accused of harassing a female when she was an intern. And the other state leader, Kevin De Leon, lived there. Do any ladies feel like women should know better than to go to a hotel room with a man? Well, you gotta understand, if this is true, she was 19 years old. This guy, she worked for this guy. This was her boss. So, I mean, it's easy to sit and say, I wouldn't do it. And I wouldn't do it. But, if you're 19 and this is your boss, you just might do it. It is biblical for people to be blinded by whatever means. Yes, Robin, corrupt nonetheless. So, and you have to understand, Alexis, and some of these people that are saying, no, you wouldn't do it. Thank you for the super hearts. But people aren't necessarily being taught the same things that we were taught when we were growing up. I mean, we assume that parents are still teaching their children things. May not necessarily be the truth. May not necessarily be so. I have a lot of parents who say to me, well, why don't they know, about their own kids? Why don't they know better than that? And it's because and I say, did you ever tell them that? And they said, well, no. And I said, well, these are children and not adults. You have to tell them. Yeah, about 19, the older accusers. Again, when you're in a work situation, I wouldn't go. However, I can't judge people who did go because they're in a work situation and they may feel that they're obligated to go. And how many people don't really think that their boss is going to do something. I mean, I wouldn't go. I would say, you know what? I feel uncomfortable, and thank you, but I'll wait out here. I remember one time my boss, who was in Texas, um, who was in Texas, basically met me in San Diego, and he was staying at a hotel in San Diego. Now, he didn't say to me, let's go meet in my hotel room. He basically said, let's, and I said to him, hey, there's an area over here at the mall that's right across from your hotel room. We can meet at a table over there. Now, granted, I was in my 30s, right? So, but he never suggested it. No, women aren't retarded. But the thing of it is that you have to know that a lot of times people they're too trusting. They're too trusting, Alexis. How many people how many people go into social media and trust the person that they're listening to? How many people go into in social media and trust everything that's being said? And, that happens. And so those people are very trusting like that. And why wouldn't somebody else be? You don't expect somebody to be that evil. And that's why, again, you have to look at things and you have to make sure that the people that you're following, have some discernment about these individuals. So, again, we're judging other people. We weren't there in their situation, so it's very difficult. I would not do it. I would know, but not everybody does. Now, new information is coming out, too. This is something that I haven't heard in the news. I had to dig for this and sort of got wind of it, and that's why I'm bringing it out. LA Times is reporting that Disneyland shut down 2 cooling towers because they discovered several cases of Legionnaire's disease. Now, I mean, that's pretty freaky. Robin said, I've made that mistake. Now I'm super cautious. Exactly. Catherine said never. She wouldn't do it. But Legionnaire's disease is very serious. And so there were 12 cases of the bacteria-caused illness were discovered about 3 weeks ago among people who had spent time in Anaheim, and also people who were in Orange County Healthcare Agency is saying that this happened at Disneyland. Now, but the thing they didn't say, this was Disneyland in September, but the thing they didn't say is that there were people who didn't go to Disneyland that were around the area. They also got Legionnaire's disease, and nobody said anything about that. So if it's in Disneyland, it's a cooling tower in Disneyland, why is it then that those people outside of Disneyland got Legionnaire's disease as well? And nobody's saying anything about it. Disneyland may have shut down 2 towers, but did anybody, in the surrounding community, did anybody hear about that from Disneyland themselves? Legionnaire's disease, it's kind of like a bacteria, they say, that comes out in the cooling system. It actually killed people. It killed people in, what was it, the Legionnaires? I can't remember where it was. This was a long time ago. And it's airborne. And they named it the Legionnaire's disease because of these people in that group. Don't do Disneyland, yeah. It's all these third world countries we bring here, Catherine said. Biowarfare drop, I don't know. It was in New York, is that where it was, Marlene? Yeah, that was ages ago. What was it, in the 70s or something like that? It was pretty amazing. And so now we hear about it. I guess it's not as deadly, according to what they're saying. Yeah, she is, Paula. That's why we were out of that first scope. We got knocked out of that first scope. There are people, again, as I kind of said in the very beginning, there are deceivers and a lot of evil going on. You're seeing it in the trolls coming in here today. And these are some of the people that are in here and saying that are probably some of the people that you're going to their groups and watching them, and they're not knowing who they are. So you have to be extremely careful when you're doing that. And they will feed your ego and hope that you come back and hope that you don't understand what's going on. Try to ignore them. Plead the blood of Jesus Christ over yourself and over everybody who's watching in these scopes, and and on and on and on, because that's what's going on. Well, Amanda, the evil continues to go from group to group. You have to be very careful. My daughter was vaccinated against whooping cough, and after illegals came to their school before I started homeschooling, she had a mild case of it. Yeah, and that's true, Robin. There have been reports of that in San Diego as well. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for being here today. Sorry for all the distractions. Hopefully, God will take care of the evil, and just again, put on the full armor of God. Protect yourself from people like that. And we'll see you again tomorrow. If you will, please retweet the first and the second parts, because, again, we got knocked out of the first one. Thank you, Robin. Thank you so much. And I appreciate everybody coming here. Love you too, Alexis. Thank you. Yep, pray for the trolls, because they need a lot of help. Thank you, Robert. Thank you, Marlene. Thanks so much. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care. Have a great day, you guys. God bless you. All right, everybody on YouTube, thanks so much. God bless you. Take care of yourself.